You hit record?
Yep.
All right, hey YouTube, my name's Joe. These are my two awesome sons. We got Joey, who's 8 years old, about to be 9, and Jackson, who just turned 7. This is our first YouTube video ever, so bear with us. We're still learning as we go. Our first video is going to be about a game that we all love, that we've all been playing for a little while now. A lot of fun. It's called Star Wars Destiny. It's a great card/dice game that requires, some skill, a lot of skill if you want to play at the high-end meta of the game, which we don't, obviously, with them being so young. But it's a great game, that kids can pick up, rather easily, and there's still a lot of skill involved for, older adults and stuff like that. So it's a great game to play with your, children that are around my kids' age. I believe the recommended age for the game is 10 plus, but like I said, Joey's 8, Jackson's 7. They understand the game well enough to where they can, play the game on their own for the most part. But we're just going to go through our collection a little bit of what we have so far from the first set, Awakenings, and the second set, Spirit of Rebellion. And we're also going to kind of show you how to play this game on somewhat of a budget. I'm a father. Kids are expensive, so and you don't have to spend a ton of money on this game to be to have a good time with it. If you want to play at the high end competitive level like any other game, yeah, that's going to cost some money, but to have good decks and cool stuff, and to go play with some friends and stuff, it's really not terrible compared to other games like Magic and like that. So first we're going to show you our cool one-of-a-kind deck box. It's just a standard 550 count card box that you can, that we separated all of our, what do we got here? So we got all of our decks over here. They're all color coded. That way they're easy to find when we want to play a certain deck. We try our best, to keep, like this is our yellow Jango Fett deck, and this is our blue Luke and Rey deck, and this is our red Han and Leia deck, and this is our favorite deck. This is our Kylo Ren, Emo Kids, Darth Vader deck.
That's our main deck.
Yeah, well, that's Joey's main deck. Joey loves playing this deck. It's super powerful. We're going to go through this deck at the end of the video just to show you how we built it and how we have fun with it. And then we just separate all the cards that we're not currently using. We just separate it by neutral, and then inside there they're all separated, yellow, red, blue, then we got hero, villain, yep, and then we got all of our locations in here.
And then we have all of our good cards that we don't use.
Yeah, we have all of our miscellaneous legendaries that aren't currently in decks at the moment, but our higher end cards all sleeved up right here. This is all Spirit of Rebellion. We just haven't separated it into hero, villain, and neutral yet, but they are all in color coded order. We just haven't put the dividers in.
Yeah.
Speaking of the dividers, the only thing we use as the dividers is just the little cardboard inserts that come in the Star Wars Destiny boosters that the die come on. We just cut them in half and use those as dividers. We have literally hundreds of them now after opening so many boosters. Last column is just our trade stuff that we're willing to part with. With the new set Empire at War coming out next month, this box is, as you can see, is at max capacity about. We're going to have to do a villain dark side box and a light side hero box. So when we need to get there, we'll get there. But I think at my local comic book store, they charge about $1 for these boxes. So between the sleeves and the boxes and the dividers, we got maybe $4 worth of stuff in here, and it fits perfect. We get so many compliments on our crazy cool box when we go to play in tournaments and stuff like that. We have the added benefit of me being a tattoo artist, so I know not everyone out there can draw the way I can, but if you got a friend who can, or maybe you can even print out some cool stuff and print them on stickers and put them on there. It's just a cheap, cool way to have a cool deck box.
You would do that?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, and then now to our dice. How we store our dice is I found these at Home Depot. We used to play a game called HeroClix,
Yeah.
and we would keep all of our HeroClix stuff in here, but we really don't play HeroClix too much anymore. That game got expensive, and that's one of the reasons we're not in it anymore. But anyways, we just keep all of our dice in here. They lock on the sides real nice, and then sorry, that was kind of loud, but just to show you that they move around or whatnot, but there's no way they're getting out of the case. And these are stackable. We do have another one to where you can put it on top and then it locks right onto the top of this one. That way you can carry multiple. And then if you just open it up, hopefully you can see that pretty well. We just try to keep everything separated and make everything easy to find. We got all of our blue hero and villain characters, and then there's blue upgrades and abilities. Anything blue that's not a character goes in these two. We got all of our red characters here, red upgrades and stuff. Yellow characters, yellow upgrades and stuff. This is all of our trade stuff down here. We even keep the rule book and checklist in a compartment just to have it with us. And then another compartment with all of our resource tokens, shield tokens, and stuff like that.
Attack tokens.
And then we got our gray stuff up there. It just makes it so much easier to find when, that way you're not digging through a box. I know some guys got those cool deck boxes that only have like the dice that they're using in there, but I don't know, I just like to have everything with me all at one time, and it's not really hard to carry this around. And it's not complete, but this is everything we have from Spirit of Rebellion and Awakenings, which is a lot, all just in one nice, easy to carry case. And then, while not for the game, I do recommend, if you're playing this game often, getting yourself a nice playmat. We won this in a DC deck building tournament. We will eventually get a cool Star Wars one, but as of right now, this is what we use. It serves its purpose. It's nice when you're playing. I don't know if you can tell, we're on a nice like wood table here in our living room. It's nice so that it doesn't nick up the wood or anything like that, and also doesn't damage your dice. And if you've never played this game before, just to show you, the dice are a bit oversized. They're kind of big. If you've never played the game, if you're just looking at pictures online of them, like I was before we decided to get into the game, you're kind of like, they're big and clunky, and they look kind of goofy if you come from a game that uses standard dice or D20 or something like that. But they're really not. They're actually kind of cool. They fit good in your hand. They roll good. They look cool. The artwork, I'm not sure if you can see that, is really cool. If you're into Star Wars, these dice are awesome. And
or you can just collect the die.
right. It's a collectible game. And I know a lot of people don't like to hear that word collectible. They think expensive,
But I don't think you should collect this game because it's worth a lot of money.
Yeah, but you're not getting into the game to make money, Yes,
probably just getting the die.
Yeah. And if you're coming from a game like Magic that has cards that are worth thousands and thousands of dollars, this is nowhere near that. The most expensive card in this game is what?
It's like $100.
No, not even Force Speed, right?
Like 50. No, Darth Vader.
No, Darth Vader's like 40 right now, and I think Force Speed is like 55, 60.
Ooh,
So what we're trying to say is that it's not as expensive as a game like that.
Magic.
Can it grow into that? Probably not. This game isn't Magic the Gathering.
Yeah. No one really plays it.
It's got a good following, but it's not Magic.
Because it's really new.
Yeah. It came out, I believe,
Before Christmas?
Yeah, sometime last year before Christmas. We've been playing for about 3 months now.
3 months.
A local game store that we used to play HeroClix at now also runs Destiny tournaments on Friday here in the Chicago area. And we go there every Friday and play. We play games at home. It's a great game to play with your kids
And family.
It's just cool to.
But your mom
And your
might
friends.
not like that.
Yeah, moms don't play generally.
And good to play with your friends too.
Yep. When you're talking, talk to the camera. Don't talk to me. So it's just a great game. If you've been hemming and hawing about getting into it, a new set does drop on September 14th. Empire at War. A lot of cool cards in it, especially if you're a Star Wars Rebels fan. From the cartoon, which I am. My boys are. There's a lot of cool characters from that show coming out in the next set.
There's like blue.
So now I guess we'll show you
Our purple deck.
our most used deck, Joey's favorite deck. I don't really like to use it too much because it is a very powerful deck. It's one of the competitive decks. You know, and I don't really like to play that way, especially when I'm playing amongst my friends and stuff. But you want to show them? So we got, who's that?
Kylo Ren.
Kylo Ren is one of the characters, and he's played at his full point value. If you look down here on the bottom of the card, I'm not sure how well you can see that. You see 2 point values. The first point value, which is 10, is if you use only 1 die with him. The second point value, 13, is if you play 2 die with him. Obviously, the 2 die version is a little bit more powerful. How the game works is you are allowed up to 30 points of characters. So Kylo Ren is 13 of those points. And then we got
Darth Vader.
young Darth Vader, also known as Baby Vader in the Star Wars Destiny community. This was him as Anakin right at the end of Episode 3 right before he becomes, or at this point he was Darth Vader, but he wasn't the Darth Vader you think of with the suit and the mask and stuff. But this is the young Anakin, and as you can see on the bottom, he's 13 with 1 die and 17 at 2 die. So we're using Kylo Ren and his grandfather, Darth Vader. Altogether, they are 30 points. Within the Destiny community, there are some decks that have nicknames. The nickname of this one is Emo Kids, for obvious reasons. You got 2 very angsty young adults here, so they're called Emo Kids. All right, and then you're allowed 30 cards in your deck. That does not include a location. Every player will bring a location to a game, and you, during your roll off to determine who goes first, you will also, whoever wins the roll off to go first, also picks either the location they brought or the location of their opponent. In this case, we are using Imperial Armory with this deck, and what this does, when you claim it, you may play an upgrade from your hand, decreasing its cost by 1. Why that's good with this deck is we have a lot of upgrades in here, a lot of weapons. So if we're able to claim quick enough, our upgrades will cost us, less resources to use.
Sorry, that's just our grandma.
We'll go through a few of the cards to, show. If you're wondering about the sleeves, these are just like.
Cheap sleeves?
Yeah, they're just the cheapest
From
sleeves
like
that they.
Walmart or Target?
No, we got these at a gaming store, but they were the cheapest ones they had. There was
we
like
didn't come.
$2 for like 60 of them or something like that, which works out great because you got 30 card decks, 60, whatever. But they're great sleeves, but very inexpensive. So we'll just go through a few of the cards. We won't go through every card. That'll take too long, but we'll go through a few of the cards. Here we'll go through. Here, this is one of Joey's favorite cards. Deflect. This is a neutral blue card, which means it can go into hero decks and villain decks, so it's a very versatile card. Joey likes this card because it allows you to take a ranged damage from an opponent, and you can do damage to them with their own die. Pretty cool card.
Yep.
Let's see, what else do we got
We should do
here?
a force choke.
We'll get there. Use the Force. That's another card that
It's like where you if you put that card in your discard pile, you get to flip your die to any side you want, or the other opponent's die.
Yep, you can take it if you're playing an opponent, he rolls a damage side of 3 damage, and that's going to kill you. Boom, hit him with a use the Force, and you can turn that to a blank side, and all of a sudden you're safe.
And you need 1 resource.
Sith Holocron, that's a must in just about any.
And it gives you 1 die.
Yeah, this is a die card. It's a must in just about any deck or any villain blue deck. It allows you to, if you roll the special, it allows you to switch out and upgrade with this card for free. And as you can see, that's a 0 cost card. So you play this card onto Kylo Ren, and you roll its special, and boom, put a mind probe, onto him. It only works for abilities. You can't use it for weapons, but there's a lot of cool abilities in here. Mind Probe being one of them. So it's a very, very valuable card.
Very expensive too.
Mm-hmm. Let's see what's some other cool cards in here. You got lightsaber, weapon. While not the greatest weapon
I don't know
card,
what it really means.
yeah, well, it adds another die to your roll. So when you put an upgrade onto somebody, you pay the resources. You put this on to Kylo Ren or Darth Vader, they get, an extra die that goes into the die that you roll, doing more damage or adding more shields or more resources, stuff like that. There's very in-depth videos on the rest of YouTube that'll explain to you better what the cards do. Force Choke, which is the one Jackson's been driving me crazy about here for a minute. Another very powerful card that we like.
It's a legend.
Vibro Knife is probably one of the most versatile cards
And you
in
need two
the
of
entire
them to
game.
play. Yeah. You need
You don't need two of them.
But we just want two of them.
You can have up to 2 cards of any deck or of any kind in your deck. We try to play 2 of these in just about every deck that we play because it's a very powerful card. It's neutral and it's gray, so it can go into red decks, yellow decks, blue decks, villain, hero, and go in any deck. And it's
Really?
pretty powerful. Here's Force Speed. We talked a little bit about this earlier. It's the most expensive card in the game at the moment.
How much is it?
It's worth like $55-$60 last time I checked. We only have one of them because I don't pay $60 for just one card. We pulled this one out of a booster we bought. We got lucky.
Yeah, out of
So lucky.
Yep.
I think I got it on my birthday.
No, you
Oh,
didn't.
It was a different one.
No, I believe I was out of the box you got for your birthday.
No, it wasn't. It was a different one.
Yeah, it's a different one.
When you went to that game store.
Intimidate.
Is
This
it really
remove.
good cards?
Yeah, this removes all the shields from one of your opponents. Works really good when you're playing against like a Qui-Gon deck who's constantly putting out shields.
Yeah.
And also when he puts out shields, he does damage with his shield. So, it's nice to get those shields out of there.
Daddy probe.
This deck really isn't good at making money or resources, whatever you want to call them. But this card does allow you to get some resources if you're in a pinch and you need them. In Rage, you deal 1 damage to one of your characters, and then this will give you one resource.
Kylo Ren right now.
Well, speaking of damage, how damage works is if you see up here, Vader's got 11 life. Once he runs out of life, he's dead.
And I lost my 2 front teeth.
Kylo's got 11 life, so this deck has 22 life. Your opponent does more than 22 damage, the game's over. What else do we got here?
That's it. That's all we should do for now.
No, this is a good
Look
one.
what time it is. Sorry.
Lightsaber Throw, another good card. If you're showing any kind of melee, if you have 1 or more dice showing melee damage within a deck like this, you generally do, because just about everything in here does melee damage. I think Vader's got 1 side of range damage, but for the most part it's melee damage, so this will allow you to deal 2 damage to a character if you're showing a die with melee. So you use this card for 1, do 2 damage, and then you still got all your dice to deal even more damage out. So that's a good one. Force Throw. This is a very finesse card. If played right, it's devastating. It allows you to throw damage back at your opponent, which is nice. Let's see. This one's good in a deck like this. Power of the Force. It allows you to resolve one of your dice, treating its value equal to how many blue upgrades you got. So you're allowed to put 3 upgrades onto each character. So if you got 3 upgrades on each, you're at 6 upgrades late in the game. You can turn this into a 6 damage, a 6 resource, whatever. It's a very good card late game. The good thing about this deck is that it constantly deals lots and lots of damage. You know,
It's a
which is
really,
nice.
really
It's a
good
very
deck.
it's a very fast playing deck, which is why Joey likes it. It's very straightforward, not a lot of finesse. It's just put out cards, roll dice.
It's a really good deck to play, like a really good deck.
Yeah, it does damage. At one point it was a tier 1 deck. Now
Mm-hmm.
probably more like a tier 1.5. It didn't. I didn't hear too much about it at the North American Championships.
The first, when we first had the deck, that was like our worst deck, and now it's like our best deck.
That was never our worst deck. It's always been our best deck.
No, remember when we
Since-
like first started and I played a game that was like our worst deck?
I don't remember that, but okay. It's a very strong deck. I don't know what Jackson's talking about. What's your favorite thing about the deck, Joey? Tell him.
My favorite thing is about the deck because this deck is really good because you get, if you use this special, you get two more
Actions.
actions. So like if you didn't roll your dice, you can roll your dice
And then immediately use them
and immediately use them. Then that's it.
all in one turn.
Mm-hmm.
Because how this game works is it's turn based, and on each one of your turns you get to do one action. An action could be roll your dice, play a card, use the dice that you rolled. But that force speed, why it's so powerful and why it's so valuable, is it allows you to do more than one thing on your turn to speed things up, so that you're finishing your turn quicker. You're claiming the battlefield. You're dealing out damage a lot quicker.
My favorite deck is our orange deck.
The Jango Fett deck. Both starter sets, when you get them, the Rey starter and the Kylo starter, each come with a few of these that kind of help you out, let you know what actions are available to you when you're playing. It's great when you're starting off. Once you start playing, a few games though, you kind of just remember what you got to do there.
Yep.
But that's our Emo Kids deck. There's a lot more cards. Like I said, each deck has 30 cards. We just went through a few of the better cards, and there are better versions. There are better versions of this deck. This is just our deck
Yeah.
with what we have available
It's
to
not
us.
the best deck in the world.
Yeah, I mean, there's ways to make this deck more powerful. We just don't have every single card, and again, we're not playing at the top end of the meta.
We should.
maybe when you're older. But yeah, then boom, just slides right back in there. You're all good. This closes up.
The thing I like about the orange deck,
Shake it around. Cards don't move around much.
see? Look inside of it. If you just shake it around, nothing happens.
Yep.
Magic.
So that'll be all for this video. We're gonna maybe make a separate video showing a game. We'll do the Emo Kids deck that we just showed you,
And
and
The
maybe
Jango Fett maybe.
yeah.
No, maybe the Han Solo one.
Dad likes to. I don't like to play villains against villains or heroes against heroes. I like to try to keep it somewhat thematic and have bad guys against good guys. And,
yeah, because that makes more sense.
yeah.
Yeah, it does make really more sense.
So that's it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed our first one. Hopefully we'll be able to create some more videos for everybody. And thanks for watching. Like and,
Peace.
like and subscribe.
Peace.